Hi, my name's Tamika. I'm an accredited exercise physiologist at True North Wellness.
And I'm Ellis, the cancer patient who was lucky enough to end up here.
Wonderful. And today we're going to hear a little bit about Ellis's story. So Ellis, tell us a little bit about your diagnosis and the type of treatment that you undertook.
My diagnosis, I am a lymphoma patient, non-classical Hodgkin's I think was the one. And I was stage 4, which meant, riddled through the whole body and quite problematic at the time. But basically, yeah, that was the diagnosis, and the chemo, the type of chemo they gave me was AVBD. Not a deterrent, but a literal push for a cure. So it was quite punishing, but quite rewarding.
So Ellis, at what stage in that process did you come to work with me, and what were you sort of hoping to get out of it at the time?
Well, inconveniently for me, when I got my cancer, I had planned to go to Switzerland, which is, a little bit of a daredevil move, really, to try to do, altitude hiking whilst under the effects of chemo. So obviously came here to True North Wellness to basically retain as much strength as I could, really, to endure that and get ready for that. But over this course, I can probably say with full confidence that I'm probably a lot stronger finishing chemo now than I was when I started.
That's great, yeah. So you started right at the beginning of your chemo?
Yes, so I pretty much after initializing that, before I just started my first round, we were already confident that we needed to just retain as much muscle mass and stamina as possible, and especially since the chemo I was getting was affecting the heart and lungs. So I wanted to make sure that my stamina and lung capacity was just as strong leaving chemo as it was when I started. So coming here and doing that has probably been a huge factor.
Great. So Ellis, how has the exercise physiology helped you over that time?
Well, obviously physically I've gained a lot, as much as, muscle mass, capacity to just last longer in any sort of endurance. But there's also probably a side of it where mentally I've been a bit more stronger as well, because while I was here, though I was obviously focused quite on maintaining my physical strength, there was a lot of support for me when I couldn't push that far or when chemo became very difficult. So it was a very good space to be in, to be here with people that were really supportive when I was obviously juggling with the fact that I was dealing with chemo every 2 weeks and juggling with that mental challenge of being able to get through each round consistently. So yeah, I think there was a huge physical gain, but as much as a mental gain as well, I guess I could describe it as. But in words, it was really therapeutic being here and getting a lot of support.
So what advice would you give to someone who was in a similar situation to what you were?
I guess for me, it wasn't so difficult when you focus on pretty much the positives. I like to humor myself all the time, and I never really let that kind of stuff get to my head, because obviously when they told me, sorry to break this to you, but you've got a stage 4 cancer, I remember just looking him in the eye and I said, I've got an assignment due next week, could you give me an extension please? And he looked at me with just such confusion, but it was just like, don't let it overrule you, don't let it take over your life, just look for something you can do, look for something you can endure or push through with, and then just focus on that, because when I was told that was the news, I couldn't change it, I couldn't just wake up tomorrow without it. So just focus on doing as much as you can and getting through it, because if there is a chance you can cure it, and there is a chance that you can step up and really move past it, go for it. It's worth the punishment to spend the rest of your life to be feeling good about yourself.
And would you recommend exercise?
Oh, definitely. I probably should mention that since we're here, but no, coming here each week and being able to feel good about myself, about the fact that it's like I haven't lost that strength, that capacity, that ability to hold my own still. Because one thing I was very worried was I'd become very docile, because a lot of people who do chemo actually wait until afterwards to get rehab, to get recovery. And it's a really hard process, because I've seen a lot of people who have tried to do that and it hasn't really been as easy for them. But while tackling it during chemo, I think that's a huge thing people miss out on, and a huge thing I would actually recommend strongly.
Oh, you've done so well, Ellis, so thank you for sharing.